अगर आपने अभी तक चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया तो सब्सक्राइब कर दीजिए, और अगर बेल आइकन नहीं दबाया तो बेल आइकन भी प्रेस कर दीजिए ताकि आपको मेरी वीडियोस की नोटिफिकेशन लगातार मिलती रहे। धन्यवाद। हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक। आई एम बैक विद अनदर वीडियो ऑफ क्लास 10th, चैप्टर 1 ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, रिसोर्सेज एंड डेवलपमेंट। ओके, सो आज के इस चैप्टर में हमें रिसोर्सेज के बारे में पढ़ना है और उनको डेवलप करने के बारे में पढ़ना है, और आज हमें इसके क्लासिफिकेशन के बारे में, हमारा मेन टॉपिक होगा क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ रिसोर्सेज। हमारा मेन टॉपिक यही होगा, और हम आज की वीडियो में सिर्फ इतना पढ़ेंगे ताकि आपको घर पे बैठ के रिवाइज करने का टाइम मिल जाए, आपके दिमाग में भसड़ती ना मच जाए हर एक टॉपिक की। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं बिना देरी किए। तो सबसे पहले देखते हैं रिसोर्स की डेफिनेशन। तो रिसोर्स की एनसीईआरटी में सबसे बेस्ट डेफिनेशन लिखी है, और आज मैं एनसीईआरटी इसलिए यूज कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि एसएसटी जब भी पढ़नी हो तो आपको एनसीईआरटी सबसे बेस्ट होती है। ओके, सो रिसोर्स रिसोर्स की यहाँ पे एक परफेक्ट सी डेफिनेशन दी हुई है। एवरीथिंग अवेलेबल इन आवर एनवायरनमेंट व्हिच कैन बी यूज्ड टू सेटिस्फाई आवर नीड्स एंड it is technologically accessible, economically feasible and culturally acceptable. These three, जो ये तीन टर्म्स दी हुई है, टेक्नोलॉजिकली एक्सेसिबल, इकोनॉमिकली फीजेबल, अब कल्चरली एक्सेप्टेबल, इनका मीनिंग क्या है? अब टेक्नोलॉजिकली एक्सेसिबल का तो मीनिंग है कि इनको एक्सट्रैक्ट करने के लिए, इनको यूज करने के लिए हमारे पास प्रॉपर टेक्नोलॉजी हो। प्रॉपर टेक्नोलॉजी से मतलब क्या कि अब मुझे क्या करना है, मुझे ब्रेड को सेकना है। अब मैं टोस्टर यूज करूंगा ना, ब्रेड को टोस्ट करना है, मुझे टोस्टर यूज करूंगा मैं, तो वो टेक्नोलॉजी हो जाएगी। अब इकोनॉमिकली फीजिबल होना चाहिए वो टोस्टर, वो थोड़ा सस्ता भी होना चाहिए जो कि मतलब मेरे बजट में आ जाए। अब कल्चरली एक्सेप्टेबल भी होना चाहिए वो। कल्चरली एक्सेप्टेबल से मतलब है कि मैं उसको एक्सेप्ट करूं कि हाँ ये अच्छा है, मतलब मैं उसको मतलब नॉर्मली मैं उसको रोजाना यूज कर सकता हूँ, इसका मतलब ये है। ओके, तो यहाँ पे एक इंटर डिपेंडेंट रिलेशनशिप का एक ट्राइंगल दिया हुआ है जो ह्यूमन बींग्स और इन सब चीज़ों का इंटरडिपेंडेंट है। ये सब एक दूसरे पे कैसे इंटरडिपेंडेंट है? ये नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज है, ये नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं हमारे। अब इनको हमें एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, तो इनको देख के हम क्या बनाएंगे कि भाई हमें एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है। अब हमें इसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए, टेक्नोलॉजी लेने के लिए हमें उसको सीखना पड़ेगा पहले। अब मुझे लैपटॉप चलाना सीखना है, लैपटॉप चलाना मैं सीखना चाहता हूँ, और पहले मुझे उसको सीखना पड़ेगा। सीखने के लिए मैं कहाँ जाऊँगा? इंस्टीट्यूशंस में जाऊँगा मैं, इंस्टीट्यूशंस, स्कूल्स। लैपटॉप चलाना मुझे सीखना होगा। अब सीख गया मैं, अब मुझे वो टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए, अब मुझे लैपटॉप चाहिए। वहाँ पे जो लैपटॉप रखा हुआ था मैं उससे मैंने सीख लिया, पीसी से, लैपटॉप से। अब मुझे वो लैपटॉप चाहिए, अब मुझे वो सारा माल चाहिए। किसके लिए? वो फिजिकल जो एनवायरनमेंट है। अब मुझे इंटरनेट चलाना है, इंटरनेट के लिए सिर्फ लैपटॉप तो सफिशिएंट नहीं है। अब मुझे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट एज चलाना है, मुझे कोई गेम खेलना है, मुझे कोई काम करना है अपना, मुझे कोई न्यूज़ पढ़नी है उस पे, लैपटॉप पे, तो मुझे उसके लिए टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए दूसरी, इंटरनेट, जीपीएस एंड एक्सेट्रा। Okay, so this is how these three things are interdependent on each other. So there is a short classification chart given here, classification chart which we are going to study in detail today. First, resources are divided into, I will read it quickly. First, resources are divided into natural resources and human resources. The human resources are divided into structures and institutions, quantity and quality. And the natural resources are divided into renewable resources, non-renewable resources. Continuous, these renewable resources are divided into continuous flow, which means wind or water, we can say as example. And renewable resources are also divided into biological resources, which are further divided into two more categories: natural vegetation, natural vegetation, which means forests. They are divided into wildlife, which means fauna. These are flora and these are fauna. Okay, and the non-renewable resources are divided into two categories, which are recyclable resources, that example metals, and non-recyclable resources, that example fossil fuels. Okay, so then we will go that how they on which basis they are classified. Okay, they are classified on the following basis. Resources are classified on the following basis. So the first basis is origin, biotic and abiotic. Second basis is exhaustibility, which is renewable and non-renewable. And the third is basis of ownership, which means on basis of ownership, four subcategories come, which are individual resources, community resources, national resources, and international resources. The next come the basis on the basis of status of development, that how they are developed: potential resources, developed resources, stock, and reserves. So now we are going to study them in detail. First is our biotic resources. So what are biotic resources? Biotic resources, these resources are obtained from the biosphere and have life, such as human beings. Human beings are also resources, flora and fauna, fisheries, livestock, and etc. So the biotic resources are what which are living. Anything which is a resource which meets our some which meets some of our needs, like I can say wheat plants, which come under flora plants. And the wheat meets my need of giving me food. Flour is made up of wheat. Wheat is and chapati is made up of flour. So the technically it the flora meets my needs. And if I say for egg, if I eat egg, so fauna because hens lay egg, and the eggs we eat. That is why we can say fauna is a resource. Fisheries, which means again fishes, and livestock, cows, which provide milk to us, and then human beings, which cook food for us. Okay, so the next is abiotic resources, which means that any non-living thing which meets my needs, like I have to lit fire, so I can use coal. I can use LPG gas. If I want to cook food on it, I can use coal to light fire, or I can use LPG to light fire. So these are non-living things. Non-living things. So anything which is a resource and comes under non-living things, it is called abiotic. Sorry guys, if you are getting some background noise. Okay. So next we are going to the basis of exhaustibility. Sorry. Then on exhaustibility, they are divided into two categories: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. The renewable resources are the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by the physical, chemical, and mechanical processes. They are known as renewable or replenishable resources, like solar energy, wind energy, wildlife forest. We can grow trees by the seeds given by the trees only. That means they can be renewed, they can be replenished, the seeds can be reused. They can be planted by physical and mechanical processes. Then they can be grown by the physical and mechanical processes. And like solar energy, we can always that never ends. Renewable resources means that the resources that never end. Okay, so the resources that never end are classified as not renewable resources, or which can be reproduced or replenished, are also come under renewable resources. Then comes the non-renewable resources. In non-renewable resources, they take a very long geological time. This means that millions of years. Like fossil fuels take a time of millions of years. They were started to form from the uh, dinosaurs time and then they have and then now we are using them. That means they took a very long time to form, and they if now something happens, and so they will also take millions of years to form. They take millions of years in their formation. That is why they are classified under non-renewable resources, because nothing can be just extended up to this limit. No humans can be like I am alive today. That no, I cannot be alive till millions of years to wait that when these non-renewable resources will form. So some of them are recyclable, which means metals, and some of them are non-recyclable, which will get exhausted by their use. Metals can be recycled as like reusing them by the scrap, reusing the scrap. Or the non-recyclable means that fossil fuels like coal, petroleum. Okay, So these things come under the non-renewable resources. Now we are coming on the basis of ownership, the individual resources, the community-owned resources. Next are the natural resources, national resources, sorry, and then come the international resources. So we will learn them one by one. First, the individual resources. This is the easiest one because individual resources can be understood by the example of one thing only, a very small example. Just forget that farmers and pay lands, pay revenue to the government. Forget this again. Example. Just one simple example of individual resources is that let's suppose my phone, my smartphone. This phone belongs to me, not to anyone else. No one can use this without my permission. So this will come under individual resources. These are owned by private. These are owned privately by individuals. Okay, and then next comes, and then there are some examples like plantations, pasture lands. You can write it in examples. Pond water, wells. Some of many of them are owned by the individuals. Okay, so community owned resources. Community owned resources means that a specific community, that a park is made in in a locality. A park is made in a locality, or we can say a society, and the people of the society, all the people of the society can access this park, can have the access to this park. They can go there and just play and walk around, whatever they want to do in that park, they can do. Okay, so these were the community owned resources. There are some examples of it, like grazing grounds, burial grounds, village ponds, public parks, picnic spots, playgrounds, and in urban playgrounds, public spots, and picnic spots are in urban areas, and these are accessible by the people living there. कोई भी अगर वहाँ पे जो रह रहा है वो उसको एक्सेस कर सकता है. अब नेशनल रिसोर्सेज, ये आ जाती है मेन बात नेशनल रिसोर्सेज की. नेशनल रिसोर्सेज का मेन मीनिंग क्या होता है कि द रिसोर्सेज विच आर ओन्ड बाय द कंट्री which belong to the nation. That means like the area under the political boundaries is owned by the nation, and the resources which are under these political boundaries, or the territorial area also, which territorial water area also, the resources which come under these areas, the resources are owned by the country, the nation. They belong to the nation. These resources belong to the nation, and the government has the power to acquire the private property even. That means if they have to construct a highway, and your home or any other property, any other plot is coming in between this, in between the highway, they can just take that plot from you, and but they have to provide another plot, by after taking this plot, after taking your plot, they have to provide some compensation, or any other plot, any other place where you can live, or they can provide you compensation. And the authority are urban development authorities have get empowered by the government to acquire land. ओके अगर उन्हें कुछ रोड्स बनानी है, कनाल्स बनाने हैं, रेलवे लाइंस बनानी है, तो या फिर स्टेशन बनाना है, या फिर कुछ भी बनाना है, अगर वो गवर्नमेंटल ऑफिस या फिर कुछ भी बनाना है, और अगर आपका होम उसमें के बीच में आ रहा है, तो वो आपके लैंड को अक्वायर कर सकते हैं, वो आपके लैंड को ले सकते हैं, क्योंकि उनको पब्लिक यूज के लिए बनाना है. ओके, all the minerals, water resources, forests, wildlife, land within the political boundaries and oceanic boundaries up to 12 nautical miles, or you can say 22.2 kilometer from the coast are termed as territorial water, and resources therein belong to the nation. So what is nautical mile? Nautical mile is actually a unit which is used to measure the area of the area in water, the length in water. So just suppose that it is a unit only, and 12 nautical miles is equal to 22.2 kilometer, and if you want to calculate the 1 nautical mile is equal to how many kilometers, this is a mathematical equation. Just divide 12 nautical mile by 22.2 22.2 kilometer. Okay, so now the area within the political boundaries and the area within the oceanic area of 12 nautical miles belongs to the nation, and the resources, even the resources also in this area belong to the nation. This is clear. Okay, and next come the international resources. After that we will quickly study about the status of on the basis of status of development. Okay, so international resources. What are international resources? Okay, so international resources means owned by the international institutions, like current international institution, main international institution is UN. Sorry, UN is the current international institution, and if someone, and the UN owns which part of the ocean? Up to 12 nautical miles. 12 nautical miles. The counting of 200 up to 200 nautical miles, the counting of that 200 nautical miles start after this 12 nautical miles. The counting starts after this 12 nautical miles, and up to that 200 nautical miles, the whole area of the ocean is owned by the international bodies, which is currently UN, is owned by the UNF, and this zone is also called exclusive economic zone. Okay, so this if someone, and no other country can use this 200 nautical miles for mining and getting other resources, because uh, these belong to UN, and no one can mine them without the permission of UN. Okay, so there is a fact that India has got the permission, the right to mine the manganese nodules in the Indian Ocean, and that of the area which lies beyond the exclusive economic zone. So जो exclusive economic zone में जो एरिया आता है उसमें से इंडिया को मैंगनीज नोड्यूल्स जो है वो माइन करने की परमिशन मिल गई है इंडियन ओशियन से, माइन करने का राइट मिल गया है यूएन से. Okay, if some other country wants to mine the area, so they can just go to the UN and ask for the permission, and tell their problem, that what is the problem and why they are asking for the permission. Okay, so here it is written that that no other individual country can utilize these without the concurrence of international institutions. The same is written here that I spoke just. Okay, so the next is basis of status of development. Okay, so this means in this four types come, that are potential resources, developed resources, stock, and also the reserves. Okay, so in the potential resources, the resources which come under potential resources are like they are not in use currently, they have the potential. Gujarat and Rajasthan have the potential to use the solar energy and wind energy in it, have the enormous potential to develop the wind energy and solar energy, but so far these have not been developed yet. These have not been developed properly. So these resources have not been developed properly. The resources come under potential resources. Okay, so then come the developed resources. Developed resources are the resources which are surveyed. We know how much these resources are, we know their quality and quantity, and they are in utilization, they are being utilized, like petroleum, crude oil, or we can say coal. That we know that we have the technology also, we have the feasibility also, uh, they are feasible also for us. So next comes the stock. What is stock? What is stock? The material in the environment which have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access these. This means that अब हमारे पास वो रिसोर्स भी बहुत अबेंडेंट है, लेकिन हम जानते ही नहीं है उसको कैसे कैसे यूटिलाइज करना है. Okay, so these come under stock, and we will see an example of stock also. Developed resources, I gave you some examples. The proper definition is written here. Resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of resources depends on the technology and level of feasibility. Okay, so these resources are developed. We have the technology also, feasibility also. So stock, under stock, which what comes under stock, they have the potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings don't have the appropriate technology, or we can say don't have the appropriate know-how to access these resources. Okay, wow, मेरे यहाँ बारिश हो रही है. Okay, one example of the potential resources, stock is given that water acts like a fire extinguisher, yes, but it is made up of two inflammable gases, which are hydrogen and oxygen. These can be used. These can be used to actually. These can be used to meet the human needs, but we do not have the advanced technical know-how to use it. We don't know how to use them. Okay, so these are considered as stock. So what are reserves? That's last topic of this video. What are reserves? Reserves are actually the subset of stock, and we know the technical know-how, but their use has not been started yet, because we have saved them for the future requirements. सॉरी अगर आपको बैकग्राउंड में बारिश की नॉइस आ रही है तो आई एम रियली सॉरी. ओके, सो फ्यूचर रिक्वायरमेंट्स को मीट करने के लिए उनको अभी यूज नहीं किया जा रहा है. वो रिसोर्सेज आते हैं रिजर्व में. रिजर्व. ओके, so like river water are used, can be used for generating electric powers, but they are being used only at a limited extent, because they have to save it for the future. The resources which are stocked, which have been stocked for their use, they come under reserve. ओके गाइस, आज की वीडियो के लिए काफ़ी है, ताकि आप इसको रिवाइज कर सको घर पे बैठ के. अगले वीडियो में हम डेवलपमेंट ऑफ रिसोर्सेज ज़रूर करेंगे, और फिर उसके बाद आप वीडियो को लाइक ज़रूर कीजिए. मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब अभी तक नहीं किया तो ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. इस वीडियो को शेयर कीजिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, ताकि अगर किसी और को भी सीखना हो तो सीख सकता है इस वीडियो से. और कमेंट करिए आपको वीडियो कैसी लगी, और तो और थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग. एंड कमेंट डाउन कि अगर आपको कोई चीज़ पसंद आई हो या ना पसंद आई हो तो वो प्लीज़ मुझे बताइए. एंड थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग.